You're watching your friend who has like a giant savings account and
Telling themselves the exact same
the
story.
exact same story.
It's like financial dysmorphia.
Yes. Yes. Financial dysmorphia. I think you just coined a phrase.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
This is Other Maria, the podcast of our real life conversations about personal evolution, society, relationships, spirituality, and everything else. We're getting vulnerable in these good faith talks and sometimes respectfully disagreeing about which of us is wrong. Just kidding, there's no right and wrong. We're just two friends sitting around talking shit. Wait, talking about deep shit, right? That's what we're doing? Yeah, enjoy.
Hi.
What's up?
What it do? Is that what you said last time?
No, I said what it is.
That's what I thought. I thought I changed it a little
You
bit.
did, yeah.
How you doing?
I'm so good.
Amazing.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This week has been
Bonkers.
fucking bonkers. So much shit.
Up and out. My stuff's just coming up, so I'm gonna have some weeks ahead.
Maybe not. Maybe it just like
Yeah, maybe.
falls right out.
I mean, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been my experience lately. So much.
But you're more dedicated to like the practices. That's my issue. I haven't been letting it, so now it's the practice of letting it. So I do feel it's gonna take a little bit
Got it.
to get into a group. It doesn't have to be a super long time, but yeah.
I hear that. I hear that.
Just like,
Okay.
oh, you gotta sit with your actual body feelings.
Mhm.
Okay, copy that.
Well, where should we begin?
With if I caught my friend having an affair, I would.
Oh, damn.
What would you do if you caught me having an affair? I never would. It's not a good, okay, I don't, somebody else. I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know. I Perhaps this is naive. I just can't envision that for any of my close friends.
That's fair. I guess I make a lot of peripheral friends along the way, and I'm never sure what they're capable of necessarily. Or like a
Absolutely.
work friend that I got close to at a
Mhm.
job, you know?
Yeah, I think if it's someone that's farther removed, it's really not my business. And like if I don't have a relationship with their partner, then
Totally.
why would I get involved?
Totally.
If it's like a closer friend though, I mean, because I think an affair is a symptom,
Yeah.
not a problem in itself.
Yeah.
And I think it would more be concern for my friend, like, oh shit, you are acting out in a
Totally.
way that
Hmm.
is indicative of something really bad that you're not addressing,
Hmm.
whether it's in yourself or within your relationship that you're committed to. I think that would be my primary concern.
Yeah.
And then second to that, it could, depending on my relationship with their partner, could potentially get to a point where I might be like, you have to say something
Yeah.
or I will.
Hmm.
Which, man, I don't know what it would take for me to get to that point, but I could see that being a possibility if the situation was particularly egregious.
Totally. I agree. I mean, I think I would talk to the person directly
Hmm.
for sure. I
You
know.
wouldn't like secretly film it from the bushes and put it on social media
Or that.
or send a video to their partner.
You know, I think about this sometimes and I'm like pretty impressed with myself because the story is that when I was living in Boston, I had a friend who cheated on their partner with someone who had just previously been dating my roommate. And let me be clear. So the person that cheated on their partner was one of my closest friends.
Hmm.
And she started cheating on her partner with this other person that I had become very acquainted with over the last few months because she had been dating my roommate. And so this was my very close friend. and they like kept wanting to come to my apartment.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah. And my friend hadn't broken up with her partner yet. And I was so uncomfortable. And I didn't even care about my friend's partner. I
Uh-huh.
didn't super care for her. I had no relationship with her. So I wasn't protective of her in any way. But my friend, I was like, this is so fucked up. And also, you're involving me by like trying to come to my apartment and hang out here. And
The
like,
part about asking you to in any way be involved is
mhm.
so icky.
And after a couple of weeks, I like confronted them and was just like, guys, I cannot hang out with you guys until you take care of that situation. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. And actually, that catalyzed her to do it, to break up with her partner, which she needed to do.
Well,
But
yeah, because to be in a position of like cheating in the first place, it's like
totally,
something about that relationship ain't working. Either fix it or get out.
100%. And it hadn't been working. So it wasn't an idea of like, go try to fix it. What's the
Hmm.
problem? It was like,
Just
you
end
shouldn't
it.
even be with them. Go end it, please.
Just
But
end
I can't
it.
hang out with you guys until that happens.
Right.
And it's not crazy to me at all thinking of doing that now. But truly, I think back on that and I'm like, damn, good for you. I was in my like mid 20s and I had poor boundaries and I don't know if I'd gone back to therapy yet. And like, yeah, I'm really proud of myself for that one
Yeah.
because it was so icky. Yeah, of course. So,
Right.
yeah. But generally, I'd be really scared to do something like that back then. And so, but yeah, it's hard to envision somebody cheating these days, and the friends we have. So it's like hard to
Right.
say. But I know I would talk to my friend for sure,
Hmm.
no matter what. But yeah. Okay. That was a good one. A story about me I hope my kids will tell.
Ooh.
hmm
What's your legacy gonna be?
I mean, the thing is, so many things could happen when they're already around for them to remember and tell.
Hmm.
Actually, now I'm realizing, I guess that's a question for people that have kids. It doesn't have to be, but I'm saying you'd have to recount a story to them from before they were born
Right.
for them to tell again, rather than like, I hope they tell about that time that I rescued them from the thing,
Right.
and they remember it and they're like,
What's coming to mind though is I actually just like want to tell a story about my mom,
oh, sure.
which is so ridiculous, and it was just a couple years ago. But hi, mom. Okay, so my understanding of my parents' senses of humor has really shifted. So, like, I grew up on like Monty Python and Dr. Demento and just a lot of other like off the wall, like
hmm
pretty deranged stuff
Yeah.
because my parents thought it was funny, so then that became my sense of humor. And it's darker than that too. But actually, the story I want to tell has nothing to do with this, but I
hmm
just now I'm going to talk about their sense of humor because they're great. I really thought that it was my dad that had the dark sense of humor, and my mom just went along with it.
hmm
And like, I remember someone saying at one point in time, and I think it was my college roommate, was describing different kinds of moms. And she explained my mom as, there's moms, there's mamas, there's mommies, and your mom is a mommy. And I feel like that's right.
Yeah.
She's like so sweet and nurturing and like so friendly and like usually very happy and makes friends with everybody and wants to take care of everybody and just so welcoming. When I was growing up, like she's the mom that takes care of you when you're sick and like checks in on you all the time and like carpooled and like all of that stuff. So very
hmm
involved. And like to this day, if I sit down next to her on the couch, she'll like scratch my back. She's just very sweet like that. But it turns out,
Oh my God.
and I discovered this when I lived with them for a couple years during the pandemic. My mom's the one with the dark sense of humor, and it's so funny to hear her talk sometimes about conversations that she's had with her college friends, because I also discovered that that's the through line in their friendship. So she has this group of college friends that they've been friends for, I don't know, what, 40 something years.
Right.
And they're pretty close, but like they talk about the funniest shit from the funniest perspective. And like it's dark, but it's also really silly.
Hmm.
So anyway, that was just like a revelation. It was very funny that my mom was like the dark humor one and my dad kind of went along with it. But anyway, so I guess I really just wanted to kind of set the stage for my mom. Because one of the other things that we grew up on was just like really random ass weird comedies. And I don't even remember what year this movie was made, but it was no earlier than when we were teenagers at the very earliest. But it's this movie called Mystery Men.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. And it's Ben Stiller and who the fuck else? It doesn't matter. But it's this motley crew of off-brand wannabe superheroes. And there's this one character that's like their guru, and he's called the Sphinx. And at one point in time, there's like a montage where he's like coaching all of them to whatever with their powers. And Ben Stiller's character is not having it. And he's like, why am I doing this thing with this hammer? And the guru character, the Sphinx, is like, because this, that, and the other. And Ben Stiller's like, and why am I wearing these watermelons on my feet? And the camera pans down, and you see that he is wearing a watermelon on each foot as a shoe. And the guru is like, I don't remember telling you to do that. Which is so silly, but like it made such an impression on my parents and me. And we quote this movie unconsciously all the time. But one year during the pandemic, and I think it was 2020, it was when I lived with them, when everyone was like kind of being loopy and losing their mind, my mom decided that while having a bunch of our family over in the backyard, because that's how people were gathering at the time, she was just like, screw it, we're gonna get some watermelon and make shoes out of them. So have I not shown you these pictures?
No.
They're amazing. So my mom was behind this because she's so funny and silly. We got two watermelons. She cut holes in them, hollowed them out at this family party in the backyard, and then everyone took turns wearing them. And we took so many pictures, and the pictures of her, she's so delighted. She's so fucking happy to have watermelon shoes. And it was, oh my God, there's so many words I want to
That's
say about it.
funny.
So I don't know what story my kids are, I don't even know if I'm having kids anymore. But that's the story of my mom that I want to exist forever because it was so cute and funny. And maybe I should try to, I don't know. Hi, Mom, if you're listening. Sorry to call you out like this, but not
That's
sorry.
amazing. That's a
It's
good
so
story.
cute.
I hope you pass that on for generations. I don't
Yeah,
care who, but
right, right. Someone's got to know that. There's
someone's
there's
gotta.
pictures too. It's great.
Amazing.
So that's ridiculous. That's what I have.
Amazing.
Also, wait. Another bomb thing about my mom that I just remembered that I kind of just learned recently.
Hmm.
Hi, Mom, again. Hope you're still listening. So, my parents still live in the house that I grew up in, and my mom actually went in with a work friend of hers on the purchase of the home
Mm.
early on in dating my dad.
Hmm.
And like, this is my understanding of it, so I'm sure Mom will come after me and whatever if I've gotten this wrong. But my understanding of it is that, first of all, at the time, homes were cheap as fuck. And
Comparisons.
we've all seen the comparisons.
Heap.
So it's incredibly inexpensive and totally reasonable for a woman in her mid 20s to purchase to have a home, NBD. But I guess that it was very much something that she followed her gut on, despite a handful of, if not more than that, people in her life being like, are you sure? I don't know if you should do that.
Hmm.
And she just went with it. She like trusted herself and she did it. And like, goddamn,
That's a good property.
I thank them all the time. I'm so glad they kept it because
Seriously.
at the time, too, the neighborhood wasn't great. But she went in with a friend from work, and then my parents later bought them out when they moved. And that was like in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then the neighborhood blossomed.
Yes.
And like not only is like the property value now huge, but oh my God, it's always just been like this amazing asset, not even financially, but just to have a full home. It's like a bigger building. So there's a unit downstairs, and then my parents live upstairs now. But I just really love that when my brother and I have needed to move back for different reasons throughout the years, it's always been there. They've always had the space to host family from out of town. The bottom unit right now is occupied by my aunt and uncle. Like, it's just been, it has nothing to do with the money at this point in time. It's just like always been this safe place. And like, I'm sure she had no way of knowing how valuable that would be for the whole family for decades.
Mm-hmm.
But she trusted herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
Yes. Go Connie. Shout out to
Yeah.
Connie.
Hi, Mom.
I miss her. Should come visit sometime.
Yeah. She always says hi, and I'm horrible at that.
Wow, rude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell her. Well, you just told her. I'm just kidding.
True.
No, that's really nice. That's really sweet.
Hmm.
Okay, next question.
Okay. Okay.
My most irrational fear.
First of all,
Hmm.
all fears are irrational.
Yeah, say more.
Oh God, I'm gonna be the one talking this whole time. That's fine.
I was last time, so.
Okay. Yeah, all fears are irrational. They're just like these egoic constructs that are typically quite vague and limiting and at best based on things that may have been true in our childhood but are no longer. And that's like fears within us, fears on the outside, like fear of spiders or something. You're so much bigger than it. That's irrational.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of heights is not irrational because, like, yeah, that's very dangerous, actually. Like, I mean, I'm just like off the cuff here. I think it's like fear and loud noises are the two ones that we're biologically programmed to actually accurately be afraid of.
You mean heights and loud noises?
What did I say?
Fear and loud noises?
Okay, yep, you got me. Heights and loud noises.
Spiders maybe too, though. There's a strong argument for biology on that one.
Perhaps.
But either way, I know what you're saying.
But there's very little, it's a bit hyperbolic to say all fears are irrational. I think I was speaking more to like the internal ones because there are some external things that we go
Yeah,
through.
I went to like the really like scary parts of the planet, whether it's this city or a whole country in war or something. And I know that's not what you were talking about. I'm not trying to like
Hmm.
get super serious, but I know what you're referring to. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know, there are people who have plenty to be scared about, but I do know what you mean that when it comes to like these internal fears, when you have the privilege to be in a safe place and all that stuff, like, ooh wee. It hit me when you said that because I was like, oh man, for like where I'm at,
Yeah.
blessed and privileged enough to be somewhere safe, to have everything I need, all of those things.
Right. Well, can we talk about very
Yeah,
vaguely just to say that you were just sharing with me
yeah.
when we were sitting up on the roof all of the stuff that you've been uncovering that's been coming up for you recently with regards to one larger topic in your life, but that there's the fear of one thing as well as its opposite.
Literally. It's like the fear of something bad happening and the fear of something good happening.
Right, right. Which, as I said, is
He's scared of something good happening. I mean, I'll show you how.
please
But
watch.
but
No, but that clarity so perfectly illustrates that, especially in that case, those fears are bullshit.
hmm
The two opposing fears.
hmm
And what's hilarious about that too is we could sort of say that that would, what am I trying to say? It could maybe be argued that that is that fear of change then?
Yeah. I think fear of change and
Maybe.
fear of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot of fear of uncertainty. But also, yeah, I mean, it's so convoluted because you have to find a reason to be scared.
Or else your ego dies.
Right. And so it's like
And you burst into a ball of light.
but like you're scared of things working out. So then it feels like maybe you're scared to just be that big. Well, you're scared of like letting yourself believe that you deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all just been so conditioned to expect bad things.
Because we were all traumatized in our childhood,
Right.
whether it was from an overtly abusive situation or inadvertent emotional abuse, or just like, I forget, someone said recently too, a child could, and this is not to scare any parents, because like, you're gonna fuck your kid up and they're gonna fuck you up. Nobody escapes unscathed.
No.
Just pick your battles. But a child of a certain age could develop an abandonment wound if they happen to be like out with their parents and they turn around and their parent is out of view.
Yeah.
Like that could be terrifying for a small child who
Yeah.
gets their entire sense of safety from their parent, even if it's for a couple seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the point was we all have childhood trauma, which is where the lie that we don't deserve good things, big things, to be who we are. Like something about that is unsafe.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
I think because also it's like delusional. Because I think that, good things don't always happen. Sometimes the things that you're scared of do happen, whether or not you're scared of them before that. I mean to say, scary things happen. Like maybe you
Sure.
never even thought of that thing happening and then it happens to you and it was scary when
Mm-hmm.
it happened. But it is also back to like childhood trauma where none of us were really set up to deal with those things as they arose because they will arise.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being taught how to like feel your emotions or breathe or express how you're feeling or go take a break or like whatever the mechanism,
How to really take care of yourself on an emotional level.
right? Instead, we were just taught get ready for the worst, be prepared. And then you're just like, cool, how? I mean, you're a kid, so you don't ask that. So you're just like, okay, I have to be prepared. And then what does your body do? If you have no other tools, you're just going to brace
Right. All the time.
all the
You know what?
time.
That's a great point too, because I feel like there was maybe not our parents specifically. I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it right now. But like,
Because also, this is like
no,
society,
that's
as
what
we
I'm
know.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The societal messaging, I think when we were younger was, yeah, like prepare for the worst. I think it was prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Oh, yeah.
But either way, it
No,
was
it's just
just
so
like,
contradictory, those two things, however you word it. It's like, how can you, what? Wait, but why can't, what?
because that's another thing about my childhood specifically, but maybe a lot of people's like societally at that time was like, that shit was confusing.
So confused.
But maybe it's just confusing to be a human child. I don't fucking know.
Fair. That too.
I mean, yeah, that's baseline.
Yeah,
Right. Wait, what was I saying about that though?
sorry, I cut you off.
Hmm.
Expecting the worst and being told, be prepared for the worst, and then you're bracing.
Well, your point though, it was like prepare for the worst, and then it was like, well, how? Because no one ever said how. So then our only choice was like, well, I guess I better ruminate about the worst. Cue
100%.
paralyzing lifetime anxiety.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. That's exactly right. I've never thought about it that way. It's true though that no people were always just like, be prepared for the worst. You
Right.
just got to be prepared at all times. And it was like, how? And then
What if something happens and then you go, because I feel like I heard that a lot. Well, what if something happens? But like the something was always really vague.
totally.
So then my little ego took it upon myself to like come up with whatever something was and then
Right.
frantically like try to find solutions for all of it. So like then half of me is trying to find solutions for the things that I'm coming up with, but like we're creative, y'all.
I
So
know.
like this part that's like coming up with potential problems, the something, what if something happens? Like trying to come up with every something and then trying to prepare for it. And meanwhile, just keep coming up with the something.
It's
I'm done.
exhausting.
I'm done. And that's how anxiety is born. And that's why I drank.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember these memes that are
That's
going
it.
around right now that are really funny about like one of them is about that game. I think you and I had talked about this
Oh,
once. Yeah, that game called perfection where you had to like fit the pieces into the shapes properly, otherwise the whole thing exploded. Okay,
In your
but
face.
that's like a mild one. That's just kind of like funny to say. But there was another one too. Oh, there keep being these memes, but one of them is like, no wonder I have massive anxiety. I was taught when I was a kid that if I ate before I went swimming, I would die.
That one's so good.
And there was another one that's even better. But yeah, I was taught if I ate before I swam, I will die.
Or the other one that's like, if you turn the middle light on in
Oh
the
yeah,
car,
that one's a good one too.
you'll cause car accidents and
That's a good
everyone
one
will
too.
die.
Yes. Oh, I saw another one. If you make that face, your face is gonna get stuck that way.
Totally. Like how twisted, because obviously it's laughable now, but
Yeah.
to tell a child that?
I remember, I love you, Mom. I love you so much. I hope she can laugh about it now. I
Hi,
defi-
Mary.
I definitely remember that I would like rub my nose
Hmm.
and she'd be like, "Stop doing that. Your nose is going to get bigger." And it not it worked as in it got me to stop. It did or it didn't. I
It
think it
worked
got me to
as in
stop.
it
But I
terrified you.
know that there were a few years where I was like really grappling with trying to figure out if that was true. And I would like, I don't know how often, but it ever came to mind, I'd look at my nose and be like, my nose is kind of big. Did I make it bigger because I was rubbing it? Hmm. Hmm.
Oh no.
I know, I know. Ugh. And it was one of those things too, though, that like even the years I stopped thinking about it, there were years where I didn't at all think about it, then thought of it again and was like, oh my God, that's not true at all. Like it had to have a crazy realization
Hmm.
where for those dormant years, kind of secretly was still thinking it could be true. Like not actively, but had to have this revelation because I was like, oh my God, that's right. That is not a thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Did you have anything about,
I, no.
do you have a most, well, let me see if I have one. Like a real, for real, irrational fear. I guess becoming a cult leader by accident.
Is that real?
Kinda.
How do you envision it would happen? Accidentally.
I don't know.
Okay. You just suddenly find yourself with a cult. You're like, oh, fuck.
And I'm just like, fuck, how did I do? No, no, okay, no.
No.
I mean, I'm not wrong, but also like, no, put the cup down.
That's so funny. That is so funny. I can tell you the weirdest childhood irrational fear.
Oh, I know what you're gonna, I know what
You
you're gonna,
do know.
because we
You
had the
do
same
know.
one.
You did.
E.T.
Oh no. I forgot that you did. This is so weird. Oh my God, I forgot it was you till this moment, and I forgot you were going to know what I'm going to say. I don't care. I'm talking directly to the audience. You have to hear this. I don't care. Hi, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Also, if you're listening, you might want the visual on this.
Oh God. It was walking past those like pointy wrought iron fences that have points at the tops of each little thing and splitting your eyelid open on it.
Yeah.
I'd have this weird intrusive thought that I like tripped to the perfect angle that my eyelid got caught on it and sliced in half. Mhm.
That is so gross.
It's so gross and weird and absolutely impossible.
True. Mine was slightly different because I
Mm.
just thought it would get like caught.
Oh, mine,
Yours
it's
was
split in half.
worse. Oh.
Just sliced. Well, getting caught is not better.
Fair.
You're just hanging from your eyelid.
Fair.
I think my brain was always just like, it can't withstand that weight. It'll split in half. Because it is that my eyelid got caught on the
Mhm.
wrought iron fence. What the
I love that simply by walking past it, something would then happen.
happened?
That's like out of a fucking cartoon.
That's the thing. It was
Yeah.
always like, what? But I really do remember. It's not like I had a phobia of wrought iron fences. I didn't think it every time. But once in a while, I'd walk by one and just be like, oh God, stop. Shh. To my brain. It was like, shut up. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What is that? So yeah, that was definitely a funny childhood one. I cannot believe you had the same one. That makes no sense.
I know. So we're soulmates.
Mm-hmm. Now irrational fears. I must have them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was scared about a lot of things, but like irrational. I mean, like you said, they're all kind of irrational, but I don't know. I get triggered by violence. I'll get freaked out. Not all of the time at all. It's not pervasive. But when I do, I'll be like, oh my God, that guy that's looking unwell over there is gonna like come over
Oh,
here and do something.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's not like totally irrational, but
Right.
it's times when I can tell. I'm like, it's probably okay. Or I'm just noticing the people around me are not having the same reaction. They are
Right.
not. It's not like I'm sensing that might happen. It's irrational because nobody else is like sensing something too, like, oh, we're in danger. But
Right.
I'll
Yeah,
like,
you've mentioned that before.
yeah,
Erratic
irrational.
behavior
Yeah.
somewhat near you
Hmm.
can trigger for
Totally.
you.
My relationship to money changed when.
Mm.
All right, good night, folks. That's been a good one.
Oh, no, I'm just feeling so much love when you ask that
Oh,
question.
great.
Just like, yeah. Kyle Cease. Yeah, I read
Mm-hmm.
The Illusion of Money
Yeah.
and then immediately read it again and then read it again and then probably read. Okay, you get the idea. But anyway, it is actually, as one might imagine, would appear on my reading list, a book that is like 1% about money and 99% about
I
spirituality,
need to read it.
essentially. Yeah, girl, read it. It's
Hmm.
like literally fucking life
Can I
changing.
borrow your copy?
Yeah. Wonder where it is. That's
Okay.
right there. Just kidding. It's right there.
Okay.
You can see all my highlights that were relevant at the time. Ooh, that'd be fun to flip through.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I think the biggest message that's coming to mind in this moment,
Yeah.
I can't really remember back because, as I said, I read it like 4 times back to back, and then a couple times since then. But it's basically that we have all been under the mistaken belief that money is bigger than us
Mm-hmm.
and more important than us and more valuable than us. And that's why I sat here in silence for a second, just like feeling so much love because changing my relationship with money allowed me to love myself so much more
Mm-hmm.
and in such a deeper way because it was like this external thing that I have held that I think most people do that is in charge of my sense of well being
Right.
and my sense of safety and freedom and love and my value.
Mm-hmm.
And to like come out from under that and realize that money is this construct that in many ways is necessary to a point. Like it has value and it is necessary in the world that we live in. But to come out from under the belief that it's bigger and more important than me and that it could and should have so much power over me
Mm-hmm.
has just really shifted my perception of myself and my value and my right to exist in the world. And I really think the value of love, honestly.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, I guess money, love, and value, I sort of understood as being really interconnected. And it just isn't because by comparison, money has no value compared to love.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And in line with the belief that I've developed to have over the last how many years is just that we're all made of love in our truest sense. The universe is love and abundance. And if that's what I am, or you are, or whatever else, how in the fuck could I even put a dollar value on that? Anyway, so that was a big thing. But I also just think that I developed a different respect for money in that I stopped treating it like something that I was always able to be upset about because there wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I switched from that place to just being so grateful for what I do have and really honoring what it can bring into my life. And I'm a fucking nerd in that sense at this point. But yeah, it really made me respect in a new way the things that I am exchanging it for.
Mm,
And I think it helped a lot with, I mean, there was nothing immediately problematic about the way that I was spending money at the time that I encountered this book and hadn't been for a while. But back in the day, I wouldn't call it an addiction, but I did use shopping to change the way that I felt.
hmm
And obviously that didn't work. It doesn't work, guys. But yeah, just having consciousness and presence about with this exchange of money for something, what is the value of the thing that I am getting in exchange?
hmm
Is it intellectual value? Is it comfort from a physical object? Is it an experience that is greatly valuable to my own growth? Is it a meal shared with friends for the sake of connection? Is it a convenience or a luxury that I would very much like to give myself as a gift? All of those things. And then watching the shift of what I'm investing, this thing that does have value, money, like what am I investing that in, and being so more mindful and so much more. I mean, I do, in fact, spend less money than I used to.
hmm
I mean, aside from rent, but that wasn't even on the table back at the time I'm referencing. But just like at this point, being really proud of the way that I interact with money,
hmm
having a reasonable amount of respect for it and what it does allow, but not overvaluing it to the point where it has control over
Right.
my state of my
Mind and being and
mind and
yeah.
being.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm
And that's not to say that there aren't still fears that can creep in or stress that can creep in, but always going back to the idea that no, I am more valuable, as is my well-being. And this thing that we have invented and kind of overvalued in a lot of ways is actually abundant.
Kelsey's, y'all.
Kelsey's, y'all.
The illusion of money.
What about you?
I'm still in the process of shifting my relationship with money, but you and I were a little parallel for a while, but then you went, phew.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I think, you know what? No. Also, I've gone up and down and back and forth a lot over the years with my relationship to money.
Mm-hmm.
But you are ASMRing the shit out of that straw. Straw break.
So tempted to fling this across the room. Don't do it.
Uh, And we're back.
And I'm just realizing that I frequently am tempted. It's just like a weird, funny, intrusive thought to just like throw things, including myself.
That you do
That
She laughs every time I say doo doo. You sure do.
I
Um,
do.
you do. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I don't know why. It's good.
But yeah, I don't know. The money mindset stuff is so challenging because it's so pervasive in society. It's everywhere. But, I have so many incredible examples of when I wasn't worrying about it. A whole bunch showed up. And
Oh, dude, you've
I
got
sure
some
do.
good
I
ones.
really do.
You have some
Um,
bonkers
mhm,
ones.
I really do. But then the fear always takes over again. And
It always has in the
um,
past.
well, I think when I was younger, I was just so caught up in like the rat race cycle of working and overworking and making whatever I was told I was going to be given
Mm-hmm.
and just accepting that. And so always being stressed out because I was overworked and underpaid, which is kind
A
of
shitty relationship.
right. And a lot of people, that's what they're
Right.
going through right now and always, right? And so it's very relatable. It's not like, I don't want to speak for you, but I will say for myself, but I'm sure you agree, like it's not like you and I are like above any of those issues that people have experienced because we've experienced them and we understand them. It's more like seeing the problems that it caused for us and not wanting that
Hmm.
and not wanting it to be this driving force in our lives. And that's not to say we're not both like, give me a bunch of money. I'd love a bunch of money. Like,
Right. And also, I'm
love it.
happy to fucking work on stuff.
Totally. It's not like I've suddenly come to a place where I'm just like, I don't need money. Money doesn't matter. It's
Oh,
like,
God, no.
right, right.
Mm-mm.
Not even
No.
close. Not even close. But
Although that changes in 3, 2, thank you.
But I do think it's just like it's a big piece of all of the other work that you and I like to work on for our self growth of just like the amount of stressing about it, just no matter how you slice it, is not useful or helpful, nor does it bring in more money in any way, shape, or form.
Right. And especially in instances where, like, and this was, I think, the big thing for me when you say that the stress doesn't bring more in. Yeah, because the stress isn't motivating. Like, I can put down the stress and still keep taking the actions I'm taking. The stress isn't the driving force behind it, so why not just not have the stress?
Right.
Which is much easier said than done. I
Absolutely.
acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
But it is a good thing for someone to like chew on of like, okay, well, if I weren't stressed about this, would I still take helpful actions?
Right.
And if you would, then put down the stress.
Right. Yeah. It's all just about stress and how stressed out we all are. You and I have talked about this a million times. It's just so fascinating to then start doing an inventory of like friends in your life or family members or whoever, and you see the people that are making a lot of money.
They're the most stressed
They're
out
the
ones.
most stressed out ones, and they have large savings accounts, and
They are the most
they are
stressed
really
out ones.
stressed out. Not all of them, but a lot of them are really stressed out,
Most of them.
most of them. And it's fascinating because, like, when you and I have been stressed out, it's been about lack. I mean, I know that's where they're coming from too in a different way, but
Hmm.
you and I have been stressed out about, like, oh my God, where's the next dollar going to come from? And, like, am I going to make rent? And, like, can I make it till like this month? And it's like literally, like, you feel like you're like scraping because you're scared. And so you're freaking out about the future and, like, will I have enough? And I don't make that much or I don't have any or like whatever the voices are. And so it's so funny to see that other side where you're watching your friend who has like a giant savings account and
Telling themselves the exact same
the
story.
exact same story.
It's like financial dysmorphia.
Yes. Yes. Financial dysmorphia. I think you just coined a phrase.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, bitch. But totally. It's like astonishing when you see it. And it becomes, for them, it's like a phobia to spend,
I've seen that a lot too.
right?
Right. And I guess, like, to illustrate too, like, my relationship with money changed when that was a really helpful piece of it too, because it actually made me realize very clearly that it isn't about the actual money, the amount of money. It is about the goddamn relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you see people with however much money and job security and whatever freaking out to the same extent that someone is freaking out when rent is past due and their electricity is about to get cut off and they need to see a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Both people are freaking out to the same degree. It's like, okay, the actual money then is not the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the damn relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so clear at this point now that, like, any day I would take the relationship that I have now over tangible financial abundance. And thank God that's not a choice that anyone has to make. But in some hypothetical little world, that choice had to be made. I want the peaceful relationship.
Right. Because it's so fascinating to see people scared to spend their own money because the problem is they don't think they're worth spending it on.
Right. They somehow think they still haven't earned it. They've earned the money, but not the right to spend it.
Totally.
That's a brain breaker.
Right. And it goes back to what we talked about already of prepare for the worst.
Oh,
Whenever you
I
talk to
know.
those people, they're like, oh, well, no, 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 that's for like my retirement. But not in like a joyful way. It's like because I'm gonna be really old and I can't put that on my kids
So that
and
I can be taken care
so
of.
I can be taken care of in 30 years and
But
so
the
that I
things
could,
have to be taken care of now.
right. And, again, it's not to negate saving for retirement. If that's something that really calls to you, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's not like this balanced, joyful, like, and I also have that balance where I do still take care of myself now, but it's often people where they're like not taking care of themselves now. For instance, taking a break from work. They have the money to take 2 months off to really, really recenter, refocus, give themselves a break because they've been going so hard, and
Mhm.
they'll still have money left over. They're in that career sector where they're going to get another job after 2 months. They won't do it. And it's just like, oh man, like it's wild. We've
Right.
looked at this a lot. I know you and I have, but
And yeah, absolutely. Save money, of course,
no, of course, that's
for
not
something
it.
that you want, or even for, I mean, please just stop with the expect the worst thing, but in preparation for different phases of life,
Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
I would very much like to do that also.
Right. 100%.
I know it's coming.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it's a relationship, and it's a relationship that
Mhm.
takes work just like any other.
It really does. That's the other thing too.
Mhm,
It's a constant,
mhm.
for lack of a better word, investment in that relationship. You have to constantly invest in the relationship.
Yeah, truly. Okay, let's do another one. Today, I care a lot less about everything.
Everything.
Right? Oh,
No, for
boy.
real.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. There was one that was like, if my younger self could see me today, they'd say. And
Damn. Get it, girl.
get it, girl. Right? I need to think about that more often because that's so real. And when I'm still stuck in fear patterns around money or anything else, it's just like, man, my younger self would be like, you're doing what? You do what? You're like, what? You got what? What?
I know.
She'd be so excited.
She'd also probably like relax a bunch and be like, oh, that's why I'm waiting for all those things.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or
Like
like
that's what
why I
I've
had
got
to wait.
coming. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that's what's in my future.
I'm
Like,
just I'm gonna
cool.
relax a little.
Yeah, yeah.
And like maybe not date a couple of those
Right.
people.
Right. Yeah, it's just really funny. I guess it's like my thing I want to just acknowledge is that I am replacing things I used to worry about with new things. And that's something I'd like to.
Oh, say more about that. Wait, but also,
Mhm.
what was the
Well, I
question?
said today I care a lot less about, but it made me think about if my younger self could see me today, they'd say. I'm thinking about it, and it's just like I used to worry about different things, and I've
Mhm.
let go of so many of them, and I feel so much better in terms of those things. But right now, I'm like, oh yeah, but I'm replacing them with new things.
Right, because your ego's like, I'm not dying.
I'm
Fuck you, I'm staying.
not dying. Yeah, and it's just like, okay, wow, it's really crazy how much worry runs through us collectively.
Are there any one for one fears or worries that you can identify that like you let go of that one and then this one popped up? Or is it not that clear?
Well, they're not one for one. I mean, I don't know if they're like related fears, It's just like things in my 20s that I used to be really worried about. I mean, I definitely worried
Like
about
that you
money in a
made your
different
nose
way.
bigger by rubbing
Yeah,
it?
made my nose bigger by rubbing it. Was scared of trusting myself. Well, I guess that's a good example, but I'm not gonna be able to do it justice because I'm not gonna be able to think the exact ones. But I used to worry about trusting myself in my 20s, and then I've gotten so much better about trusting myself on so many things, but then I find new things to worry I can't trust myself about, And you're like, wait, what? That's not
Oh my God. Yeah, shit that's like hiding in plain sight that I'm not trusting myself about.
right. And it's just like, wait. didn't we already learn we can trust ourselves?
We sure
Me, like,
fucking
yeah,
did.
like you,
Yeah.
me, like, didn't I already learn I could trust myself? But like, then I just keep on testing it.
Right. Or like I have an unconscious exemption from that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like, well, you can't trust yourself on this one.
Right. Everything else, but like not that.
Not that one. Totally. And I think also because we were always so conditioned to be scared of making mistakes. And I know a lot of us are working through that and everything, but it's like sometimes you trust yourself and something negative happens. And I know from a higher perspective that that shouldn't teach one to not trust themselves. I mean, there's varying degrees.
I mean,
If you're not in touch with your intuition at all,
even when you said something negative happens, and I wanted to be like, right.
sh- exactly. But there's varying degrees. There are the people, we've both been through it, where we were making bad choice after bad choice because we thought we were listening to some voice inside of us that wasn't quite our intuition. And bad thing after bad thing would happen. And it was like, why the fuck? I cannot trust myself. I can't make this next choice.
Mhm.
And you get really lost and stuck and scared. And that's a part of life too. And so that's part I've gone through where I was like, man, I cannot trust myself for a minute. Because, well, I don't know if I've ever said that to myself, but I probably had that feeling of just like, I keep making the wrong choices. Like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean you should just go, I shouldn't trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just not true. But I do think that there are times in people's lives where they can kind of defer to another for a minute or a group for a minute or whatever and be like, you got to help me with these choices because my compass is way off.
Absolutely. And also, still within that, you get to trust yourself because I feel like something that people don't talk about very much is absolutely pull the audience. But as you learn to hone your intuition, when you pull the audience, even if they all say the same thing, and by audience, I mean like your close, trusted, whatever. But when you pull the audience, if they all have the same answer and it doesn't sit right with you, trust yourself.
Totally.
Because that's also information. You're like, when you go to a restaurant and you ask the server, should I get the chicken or the salmon? And you kind of feel conflicted about it. And they're like, oh my God, get the salmon. And then you kind of feel disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Get the chicken.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like that feedback that you get from someone else's.
And I think it's tricky because then the person could say, see, I can't trust myself. I chose to go with what the person said, and now I'm displeased. And that's where that like confirmation bias can start,
Mm-hmm.
where you're like, see, my intuition's off because when they said salmon and I said yes, and then I didn't enjoy the salmon, that's on me. But it's like, well, you're missing the part where you felt like you wanted the steak and you were too scared to say the opposite of what the person just said to you.
Right.
That was you discounting your intuition. Because I thought of something. I'm watching Project Runway, one of the seasons, and there's this woman on there who has a very different style than high fashion. And so she's really an outlier in this high fashion show. And she's having to push herself to try to be more high fashion, but she has all these like, they can run really childlike, very childlike patterns, childlike silhouettes and stuff. And like every fucking challenge, she's had like 5 in a row where her design just comes out wonky. Not because of her funky style, but there's like a mentor on the show who will go around while they're creating their pieces and will give them some advice. The last one I can think of, he was like, I don't know about this length. So it was like a longer length. Maybe play around with being short. And she'd already been given this feedback 4 times in a row, 4 challenges in a row. It was like, listen to yourself because your shit's coming out wonky because other people are coming in with suggestions.
And we're just blatantly taking them.
Yes,
Blindly
but they
taking them.
kept on telling her. And then this example, it was like twisty. She goes, Okay. And then she makes it short. She doesn't sew it yet. She pins it short. And then she looks at it and she's like, no, that's just too short. I know that people are saying that I'm too like demure, but like it's just too short. So, I'm going to compromise and go with a high low. And so it's like high in the front and low in the back. And it just looked so dumb. And then she kept doing the confessionals being like, I need to just stop listening to other people and like trust myself. And like you almost felt bad that the mentor, it's like as though he was like trying to fuck with her, like trying to change her. But it was like, no, he had a good suggestion. If you'd even just gone all the way short, they probably would have liked it better. But then you went halfway. Or if you'd said, no, you know what? I've heard this already. Thank you for your idea, but I'm really gonna like sit with that and trust myself and go with the long length. But the judges could like see through it in the design. They were like, what happened? And she's like, I let the voices in again. I couldn't just decide for myself. But it was crazy to watch her do it 5 episodes in a row. And I was
Right,
like,
you
this
just have to
poor girl.
pick a lane.
Pick a lane. It wasn't her mentor's fault. He wasn't trying to change her. He had an idea and he was trying to stretch her. And it would have been good for her to go, thank you. That's okay. Let me try that. Oh, no. Because then he's gone. He's not there to finish her design. She can do what she wants.
Mhm.
And so she can make it short and go, no, that's not me. I want it to be long. I don't care if they call it matronly. But she kept doing it until she got eliminated. And it was like, girl. Like,
Damn, I can't wait for her come back.
right. But you know, it's just that thing where you're missing where your intuition was off. It's not that someone told you something and like that they like misled you. It was like, no, you had a choice. You can sit with that and you don't have to agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to your intuition.
It's the
You know
most important thing.
that intuitu. Just kidding. I tried. It didn't work. I'm so sorry. I'm so delulu. Just kidding. That's a Gen Z thing, just so you
Delulu?
know. I knew you wouldn't know.
No, of course I don't know.
Delusional. Delulu.
Uh,
If my younger self could see me today, they'd be making fun of you and how you don't know Delulu.
why would I know that? Why are they doing that?
Oh, you don't know Skibbity? That's
That
our,
one I know because
well,
you and Ed pulled that one up
yeah.
for me.
Skibbity Riz, Ohio, Delulu. There's a lot of them now.
Riz, I know,
Riz, we
obviously.
talked about a long time ago.
It's fucking stupid.
It's just because you don't
Ohio,
add
I
the
find so
it.
humorous.
I don't even get it. I think it means bad, but I don't even
It
understand.
does mean bad,
Yeah, but I
but
don't understand why. Like,
I
I don't know the
think it's
origin.
funny. And I honestly was on board. And then I was in a cute little town in Ohio last week and
But then how do you
it was
use it?
cute.
Are you like, that's so Ohio? I bet I'm
I think so.
really?
Well, but okay, you and Ed pulled that up for me at the same time, and it was in that the parent
Yes.
defining it.
Yes.
And I think it was just like,
Oh no, I don't know he was defining it. I thought he was just using a bunch of them. I don't know which one we're talking about. Anyway,
I don't fucking know what I'm talking
no,
about.
no, no.
Nobody
I don't.
listen to me.
No, no, I don't either. I don't either. But like skibbity, skibbity.
What
No
did I
cap.
say
No
to you
cap.
the other
No
day
cap.
when we it's giving.
It's giving. It's giving Beyonce.
That's what I said.
You were so proud of yourself for that
I know.
one.
I got it.
Ah,
Good for you guys for being,
so creative and ridiculous.
I guess.
What I do?
I'm just
No, no, no. They're insane. It's insane right now. The vocabulary changes.
right.
Anyway, we did it.
We did it.
Oh, show them your watermelon nails. That's just for me. I don't care about this fourth wall today. You can suck it. I just think it's hyperbolic.
Thanks. Okay, so the watermelon nails. Found them on Pinterest.
Oh, nice.
Fucking nail lady.
Nailed it. So stupid.
But it was really cool because they have this little airbrush. So they did like the light pink and then they have this little bitty nail airbrush gun.
That's so crazy.
And they did the pink part.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and most importantly, share. This episode was hosted by Maria and Maria. Theme music composed and performed by Maria. Logo design by Maria. Recorded and produced by Maria. Snacks provided by Maria. Moral support provided to Maria by Maria.